Hey everybody, this is Rydo and we are back to Dirt 3. So, weirdnesses abound here. I don't know which one we were at right now. I guess we'll just try this Gymkhana attack. I guess we don't need to do that immediately though. We'll start with this one. We were sitting right here at the end of the last recording and the Steam just crashed again. There's something, as best as I can figure, that causes this game to trigger Steam in some way to cause the entire thing of Steam, the entire sandboxing overlay application that's running in the background of crashing. And that should never happen.
You know, that gasoline smell?
That's weird.
Smells like...
So I assume that was a reference to I love the smell of napalm in the morning, which is a reference to Apocalypse Now, I believe, which is a really old movie. So am I doing Gymkhana things again? I didn't even realize that's what I was doing. So I totally missed that, but we don't need to really worry about that. I just kind of want to hit as many of the bricks as possible. We've got a minute left, and I'm still at 8. And if I'm not careful here, I'm gonna miss. Get a little bit of drafting going on there if we can. Hit these 3. Hit these 3. Hit these 2. I've got 25 seconds more. I could try to spin. What I'm noticing about this this setup particularly is there was barely enough points there to get the first if I
Your
just
fans will go
hit
nuts
all
when
the
they see
things.
that. Let's post it on YouTube.
So yeah, it seems like these Gymkhana events might get more and more difficult as we approach the end here, as we're slowly approaching the end. Yeah, and I just don't... Apparently I'm doing 2 races here. I don't know about the crashing. It's a weird way to crash, and I can't really complain about it too much because it's always crashed outside of the race, except for that one time where it locked up the whole thing. And well, so I guess it hasn't always crashed outside the race. Let's be more honest here, or more accurate. I'm not trying to hide things, I'm trying to get it straight in my head. So, wow. I totally crashed through that. Hit that, hop over here. A little bit of a donut, a little bit of grind. I can somewhat do spin when the game is assisting me, but only to a certain extent. And I've got 21 seconds, and if I don't start moving here, I'm not gonna get it. Now, back in first place. So this is an interesting point, that there was 3,000 points. I could have gotten more, but that wouldn't have actually been enough to get me to first place. So unless there was another, I don't know, 100 points, I could have gotten more. But that wouldn't have actually been enough to get me to first place. So unless there was another 100 points, I could have gotten more. But that wouldn't have actually been enough to get me to first place. So unless there was another 100 points, I could have gotten more. But that wouldn't have actually been enough to get me to first place. So unless there was another 100 points, I could have gotten more. But that wouldn't have actually been enough to get me to first place. So unless there was another 100 points, I could have gotten more. But that wouldn't have actually been enough to get me to first place. So unless there was another 100 points, I could have gotten more. But that wouldn't have actually been enough to get me to first place. So unless there was another 100 points, I could have gotten more. But that wouldn't have actually been enough to get me to first place. So unless there was another 100 points, I could have go unless there was another
You've really mastered Gymkhana.
brick to crash into somewhere that I missed, that race actually did require me to do several other tricks. But I did it, so I'm not going to really complain. I should complain more about the crashing, honestly, now that I'm thinking about it. It did lock up once in a level, and that's one time too many.
Look out, world! This driver's going to the Winter X Games. You're driving so hot, you're gonna melt the track and my mind.
Yeah, try and calm down, Christian. I'm just as excited as you are, but let's not lose sight of the goal. We can't progress to the final season without a great showing here. Treat every race like the final, and drive as hard as you can.
Don't let her get to you, mate. She's just uptight about the Super Series. Listen, just do the best you can and try to have some fun out there. It is the Winter X Games after all.
It's interesting because, like, there's 3 different distinct personalities written into these characters that are talking to me. There's one guy that's clearly just a hype man, and he's just gonna say, "You did awesome always." There's the girl who is kind of negative, but mostly just realistic and
Time to show the world
telling
that
you
you
to
can do more
focus
than just
now.
drive fast. Let them see you can do it in
Then
style.
there's this guy that's talking who's more of a just have fun and relax guy. So the only personality type that's kind of missing here is the completely negative personality type, where, yeah, I'm not gonna do this, where I can fill that voice quite easily myself. So we are trying to, like, this is gonna be difficult. Like, this is gonna be really difficult. I've done 3 out of 6, interesting. Can I really pull this off? 4 out of 6. I've got a minute left. I don't understand this one. It seems like it wants me to do a donut around this. Five out of 6. Interesting. I have 30 seconds. Let's find what we're supposed to grind on over here. 22 seconds to crawl over here, and I do a rather tight donut. Alright. Come on. We gotta get it here. We did it. We finished.
Bummer. Guess
But
I'll
we
see
still
you around.
failed. Well, see, and here's a complete perfect example of, I was happy with that run. I actually did all the tricks they were asking me to do. I actually succeeded there. But then the amount of time it took me to do it was 40 seconds more, 45 seconds more than what they wanted. And that just goes to show these Gymkhana things are not helping me anywhere as much as the casual races are. So I'm never going to finish that. And because I'm never going to finish that, perhaps in a similar way I won't ever unlock this 6th triangle. So moving on. The Gymkhana sprint. Did we not? I guess we did this previous Gymkhana thing, so let's try this. This is also one I'm just not gonna succeed at, so we're doing a lot of Gymkhana in a row here. It just lined up that way.
Your car is ready
It's
to
a different
dominate this
car.
Gymkhana event. How about you?
Not me, no. Absolutely not. I'm gonna fail miserably. And so yeah, the 4th voice character would have been a very negative character, which you could have done. You could have put like a how would you put this? You could have put a... apparently I was not supposed to do that, of course. A villain character that would have just worked my way back in here. Hop over here. Well, this one actually, if it's gonna be mostly smash things, but remember we're also, I think I missed one back there, and I guess this donut here that we were supposed to do. Let's not waste time on the donut. We were supposed to do a donut there. Supposed to do something there, and frankly I don't think I can even see the rest of the map. He's probably supposed to do a donut there, and then hit this, and then smash through this, and what? Then is that the end? That probably is the end. It probably just wants you to drive right off into the water after that point. So you can't even see the track, really. If you get off course, you can't even see the track.
Can't be a champion every day.
Two very distinct games here between the racing and the Gymkhana. And even when the rally racing has multiple different versions, the Gymkhana stuff doesn't. It's pretty much all the same. Let's get back to regular racing now. Ooh, interesting. 2,250 objective bonus versus 2,250. So we no longer, at least for this style of cars, have to do the mobile one, which we've been doing this whole time. This one has 552 bhp, 1,200 kilograms four-wheel drive. This one is 560 bhp, 1,200 kilograms four-wheel drive. So actually this car is still better. But we'll try this one. Ford Fiesta. I saw some car that had 800 horsepower, and I assume BHP is the same as horsepower.
You've been doing great in Rallycross this season. Let's keep that momentum going.
Well, when this was a real-world car that actually had 800 horsepower, I'm like, oh, wow. Nothing we've been seeing in this car is getting anywhere close to that. Now, that being said, it seems like it's pretty much a very close, tight balancing act between weight and horsepower. So 800 horsepower on itself may not be that great if the car that it's in is considerably heavier. I'm sure you can probably get a ton of horsepower in tanks, but they don't go that fast. Although they do go surprisingly faster than you would think. So just back to regular racing, except for now, since we're hitting the more pro levels, more cars will crash, and there will be slightly more challenge. It'll be slightly easier to spin out and mess up, but only ever so slightly. At the end, probably before lap 2, I'll be in first place. Well, that was lap 2. So I'm now in first place, and as soon as I get a little bit of a lead right about now, I'm so far ahead of everyone else that there's very little chance of ever losing first place or not succeeding completely. Which again, makes me really wish that these races only had 3 laps on casual. Just, that would have been an easy reduction to happen instead of going 8 laps. An amazing 8 laps in this time. Not necessary. Or let me choose how many laps at least, because maybe there is some casual players out there that it would take them 3 or 4 laps to win. But I have very consistently gotten in the first place at about before lap 3. So it wouldn't actually add any challenge to me and just save me time. And that's kind of what I'm looking for here, considering there's so many races in this game. So many races. If I had known it was going to take this long to get through all the races, I would have probably played hour-long recordings instead of 30-minute-long recordings. Although, I don't know if that really helps the footage any, because then there's just these hour-long videos that everybody probably is only going to watch half of and then quit. And that doesn't work too well on YouTube. Ideally, if I was really going to put in the effort, I would cut every single episode in between every single race and then have like 5-minute long episodes and then have this series go on for a very long time, which that would work if I wanted to clutter up my channel with Dirt 3 footage for the next few months, but I try to keep everything a little bit more tidy than that, hopefully. Yeah, definitely a lot of weirdness. This is also some weirdness of the website How Long to Beat, because I check how long to beat on every game to see how long it takes an average player and a completionist player. So this is self-reported people saying how long did you take to beat this game if you're a regular player or if you're a completionist, and the numbers are pretty different. There. Usually the numbers aren't too far off. A regular player will play on average like 20 hours for a 20-hour game, and a completionist might play 27 hours for a 20-hour game. So not less than 50% more time. Here, if I'm recalling correctly, it was like 20 hours for an average player, and something along the lines of 53 hours for a completionist. And I can definitely see that in this game, because you could spend quite a lot of extra time trying to do all the Gymkhana events if you're better at the Gymkhana. You could spend even more time trying to do the racing events if you're bad at the racing events. Well, honestly, if you're bad at the racing events, though, you probably should just not play the game, because they are there much more often than the Gymkhana stunt events. And trying to get platinum on everything could add a lot more time. Playing on multiplayer against other people and trying to get all the achievements there could take up a lot more of your time. We're now on lap 8. One more lap to go. And how far behind is everybody? Well, they never fall too far behind. We've never had a race where I've lapped all 7 of the other competitors. I've barely even had races where I've lapped the 8th position of the players. And I guess you'd have to have a particularly short track for something like that to happen. Long tracks, it's just too much ground to cover. Here we go. First place. And at least we got to drive a different car. Did we get the bonus? Yes, win the first lap. No, we didn't get that. Actually, that's kind of a difficult bonus. Getting in first place by the first lap. That's beyond me. So I didn't get a bonus there, so there's still 2 reasons why I would want to play with the DLC cars instead of play with what we unlocked. And that was the final shootout, and it was just one Rallycross race. Wow. Interesting. Even the game itself, it feels like it's getting bored of itself. And I can't hit the left bump here to move all the way to the beginning. That sucks. I guess I have to blame the game for the crashes, because we're also seeing this lockup during the loading.
You raced a clean line last race. Didn't need to fix much on the car.
I'm hearing
when you are.
a few little audio clicks every now and then when it tries to play audio, which tells me that the audio engine is probably a little buggy too. And so we're gonna take on Shibuya again. We haven't done Shibuya in a while. I wish I knew more about real-world rally car racing, so I could compare these racetracks to what is actually out there for offer. It's not a hugely popular sport. I don't see people on Facebook talking about rally car racings in my circle of people I follow, and I don't see people saying they're going to rally car racing events or NASCAR events, really. Even NASCAR, which is probably the most popular racing car circuit series there is probably not that big of a deal. Sure, they can fill a stadium, but they're probably filling those stadiums from 3 states worth of people. Like the Indy 500 in Indianapolis is probably, I bet, the biggest NASCAR fans go to that from states and states away. Where, in comparison, a lot of local football teams and college football teams have stadiums that are full much more often, and I mean American handball when I say football. I don't think people buy season tickets to NASCAR events and go to all the different racetracks. So that they're probably seeing 2 or 3 at most live races, where a football fan in America, and an American football fan, will go to 10 out of 12 games in a season at least, every Saturday night. So I think while it's more spread out between many different teams, yeah, if you really run the numbers, the popularity of NASCAR is probably significantly smaller. Just a tiny fraction of other sports. Of course, there are always even more niche sports out there. I'm a big fan of curling. I saw that one Winter Olympics, and I thought, oh, that's kind of a cool concept of a precision sliding of a heavy metal stone, trying to basically play pool with it, billiards. I'm also a fan of billiards and darts, and all of those are not hugely popular. Bowling was very popular in the United States a few decades ago, but has steadily declined ever since. But it's still moderately popular as an activity, but not very popular as an actual sport. So, like, you might be part of a bowling league, but that bowling league, even if they go to the tournament, isn't going to get on very much TV or news coverage, newspaper coverage. I suppose it would be a good idea if we had more physical activity sports and that people were active in the United States. But the vast majority of people just watch and barely play or never play the sports they love. In the example of racing cars, yeah, that there's a higher barrier of entry there, where bowling, anybody can go to a bowling alley and join a bowling league. Football is similar. If you want to play professional football, you have to be extremely good and extremely young, relatively young. And although anybody could play football in a backyard or a park, it doesn't happen too often. Alright, so we're in position 1 of lap 4, and again I've run out of things to talk about. And we're gonna win this. You know, honestly, I don't think in Japan people would be setting off foghorns. That particularly doesn't sound accurate to me. Even at a race, I don't think they would do that, because I'm basing this off how I've watched them do sumo wrestling, which sumo wrestling is an interesting sport, very popular in Japan, be it where it originates. It's a combination again of using judo and strategy and quick bursts of speed to move very heavy people or flip them or over. And when Japanese people watch sumo wrestling, they are pretty much expected, just out of respect, to be absolutely silent. And I think that would be very much the case. Now they do I said doo-doo. They do have masked wrestling, you know, the fake wrestling, that they scream around and that, so it depends on the situation, very much. But in sumo, they don't make much sound at all, and if they're very upset, they'll throw the seat cushions they're sitting on at the center of the ring, but that's kind of all they'll do. So I don't feel that they would do horns. I think too many workers in the buildings on the sides would complain about all the noise happening. Alright, so we are done with the NX shootout, and now we're gonna do the Gold Series next time. Until we unlock a new tiny triangle here, we don't have anything else to do, so hopefully maybe we can start to speed this process up a little bit. once we get through this whole tournament, Gold Series, then we go to the Winter X Games, which only has 4 things, so that's not too bad actually, but they may be very long things. And then we're on to Season 4. That's going to be it for this recording. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. If you want a friend or follow me on basically any social media sites, there's a whole bunch of links down below. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.